Like many of us, I'm celebrating this season with family. And what I'm noticing around the dinner table or in the evening, there's a thread of worry that comes into the conversation. Worried about this, what do you think about that? Worry, worry, worry. So I've been reflecting about worry. John Mayer has a song, The Age of Worry. It strikes me that we live in the age of worry. Back in the 1990s, I had a personal revelation that television news wasn't selling information, which is the lie I believed for much of my life until that point. What they're selling is fear. If you look at how it is packaged, the headlines, the stories that are at the top of the hour, the headlines that dominate the news, you start to get a picture. Oh, they're actually trying to make me afraid. It's actually their product. And in the 1990s, I decided I'm actually not in the market for fear. And so at that point, I swore off television news. It's not that I swore off news. I still want to know what's happening in the world. But my sources are different now. Social media is kind of the same thing. Social media eyeballs are attracted to worry, to fear. And so I've managed to curate my social media feeds much the way I've curated my television watching. I don't pause even for a second on stories that are trying to provoke my fear. I went to a talk a few years ago in New York City by Thich Nhat Hanh, the great Buddhist monk from Vietnam, nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize back in the 60s. He equated what we put in our minds through media with what we put in our bodies. And so this fear, whether it's coming to us through television or social media or some other avenue, is really like junk food. It's like sugar. It's addictive. And there are all sorts of psychological reasons for that. For many of us, it's a source of comfort. You know, there are people in my own family who will just turn on the TV, even though they say, oh, I don't consume any of that fear stuff. And I watch them turn on the TV allegedly just to get the weather, to see if it's going to snow today, as it is. And then they stick around for the fear. Oh my God, what are these drones over New Jersey? Oh my God, what's Putin going to do next? Oh my God, what's this? You know, all of this fear. And they stick around for it. And I watch them. It's an addiction, like sugar. So what's the antidote? Well, there are lots of antidotes to that. Community, choose your friends well, choose your media well, curate your media sources. But really, it's about choose where you're going to place your attention. Focus your love, focus your attention on your circles of influence and intimacy. It's a good bit like the Serenity Prayer, basically, which says, don't worry about stuff you can't influence. Put all of your attention on the world that you have some influence over. Now, maybe you are an operator in the political realms and you can actually influence what's happening in Eastern Europe or Sub-Saharan Africa or the Far East or whatever. In that case, then you should definitely focus a lot of attention on those places. Not that you need to worry about them, but you should definitely put your attention there. But if you're not like that, and very few of us are, if we just place our attention on those areas that we can have an influence over, family, community, friends, and if you have a forum in social media, you can extend your influence there. I'm not trying to say just wall yourself up in your home and don't worry about anything else, but check out where do you have influence? Where do you have connections of intimacy? And put your attention there. And don't worry. There's nothing to worry about if you can actually do something. Worry is when there's something scary out there and we can't do a thing about it. So we get to be masters of our own attention and focus our attention where we can make a difference. Love in your circles of influence and intimacy. Let go of everything else, and there's no need for worry. Be well.